Welcome to Moving to Portugal Daily, Episode 1. I'm Mateos Costa. Today, we cover the Budget Survival Kit, exact first 90 days costs that make or break your move to Portugal, with the latest numbers and practical steps.
Quick update on Portugal in 2026. Rental demand in Lisbon and the Algarve remains high, and municipal rules are tightening around short-term rentals, which pushes some newcomers into longer leases with upfront costs. The one financial mistake I see every week that actually causes visa trouble is simple: arriving undercapitalized, then using irregular credit card flows that do not match the bank statements CEF and Finances expect to see.
Here's the promise for the next 9 minutes. You'll walk away with a ready-to-use Euro template, city-specific example budgets for Lisbon, Porto, the Algarve, and secondary cities, and a 30-60-90 checklist you can use today to avoid surprises. I'll give exact line items: rent, deposit, utilities, internet and SIM setup, food, transport, health costs, and the buffer you need, and show how to present those transactions as visa-friendly evidence. First, where hidden costs hide, and what to expect by category. Deposits. Most landlords ask for 1 month's rent up front, but in tourist hotspots, landlords or agencies sometimes request 2 months plus an agency fee equal to 1 month's rent. Plan for a deposit range, 1 to 2 months, depending on property and season. Utility activation. Expect one-off setup fees. Electricity and water are typically free to register, but if the previous account is active, you may face a deposit or transfer fee of 30 to 100 euros. Internet routers or installation can be 0 to 60 euros, with larger providers charging a small setup fee. Municipal timing. Property taxes like IMI are annual and usually not due in the first 90 days unless you buy a property, but municipal charges and council rubbish fees can appear on invoices. Health. For visa applications, many people present private health insurance. Expect to pay the first premium or an annual amount up front. Typical private insurance for a healthy under 65 adult is roughly 30 to 120 euros per month, depending on coverage, but insurers often request an initial payment of 90 to 360 euros, covering the first quarter or year. Finally, vendor fees. Cleaners, relocation agents, inventories, and bureaucratic translations often cost 50 to 300 euros per service.
Now, the Euro exact 90-day budget, line by line, for city buckets. All numbers are per person and represent typical first 90-day outflows given a modest one-bed rental. Lisbon, Central, monthly rent 1,400 euros, deposit 1 to 2 months 1,400 to 2,800 euros, agency fee, if used, 1,200 euros, utilities deposit and first bills 200 euros, internet plus router setup 50 euros and monthly 30 euros, SIM plus initial top-up 20 euros, food and groceries, 350 euros per month, times 3 is 1,050 euros. Public transport monthly pass, 45 euros, times 3 is 135 euros. Private health insurance first 90 days, 300 euros. MISC, furniture basics, cleaning, small repairs, 400 euros. Contingency buffer, 30%, 1,000 euros. Total first 90 days Lisbon, approximately 7,995 euros to 9,395 euros, depending on deposit and agency fees. Porto, Central, monthly rent 1,000 euros, deposit 1,000 euros, agency fee 900 euros if used, utilities 150 euros, internet 40 euros setup plus 30 euros per month, SIM 15 euros, food 300 euros times 3 is 900 euros, transport 35 euros times 3 is 105 euros, health insurance 250 euros, MISC 300 euros, buffer 800 euros. Total Porto roughly 5,790 euros to 6,690 euros. Algarve, popular towns, seasonal pressure, monthly rent 1,100 euros, deposit 1,100 to 2,200 euros, agency fee 1,000 euros, utilities 180 euros, internet 50 euros, SIM 20 euros, food 320 euros times 3 is 960 euros, transport 30 euros times 3 is 90 euros, health 280 euros, MISC 400 euros, buffer 900 euros. Total Algarve, about 6,430 to 7,530 euros. Secondary cities, inland towns, monthly rent 650 euros, deposit 650 euros, no agency fee typical, utilities 120 euros, internet 30 euros, SIM 15 euros, food 250 euros times 3 is 750 euros, transport 25 euros times 3 is 75 euros, health 200 euros, MISC 200 euros, buffer 600 euros, total secondary around 3,440 euros. Across all buckets, plan a two-step contingency: immediate liquidity, enough to cover the first 2 months of rent plus deposits, and a month-by-month reserve to show predictable outflows.
Next, how these costs affect your visa evidence. CEF and Finances look for consistent, traceable transactions. The clearest items are rental contract with landlord signature, deposit payments visible on your bank statement, a receipt or invoice for private health insurance showing policy dates and amount, direct debits or invoices for utilities or internet in your name, and incoming income transfers or pension deposits that show regular funds. Avoid presenting a single large credit card payment as your only proof. CEF wants bank deposits and transaction history that indicates sustainability. When you pay deposit and first month's rent, get a signed receipt or rental contract stamped with NIF if possible. For insurance, ask for a policy schedule or receipt that lists policyholder, coverage period, and premium. That file is useful at appointment. For bank evidence, prefer transfers from your verified savings or employer accounts, and if you plan to use a third-party transfer service, keep the transfer confirmation PDFs. They matter more than a screenshot.
What most people miss: 3 mistakes that blow budgets or trigger extra checks. First, over-reliance on credit cards. Example, you arrive, pay deposit on a card, then show only card statements with mixed currencies. CEF prefers clear bank transfers and local receipts. Second, mistimed transfers. Example, a savings transfer sent after your CEF appointment is useless. Your bank statement needed to show funds before the interview. Third, underestimating municipal and seasonal fees. Algarve summer rentals spike, causing higher temporary rents and agency demands. Short examples: a client who arrived with only an online travel card found the rental contract required a Portuguese bank transfer. The landlord delayed registration, causing CEF to question the tenancy. These are avoidable with 2 rules: pre-fund a Portuguese bank account where possible, and collect receipts immediately.
Now the 30, 60, 90 action plan. Practical steps you can implement before you book a flight. Day 030, pre-arrival. Open an international bank account and transfer enough to cover 2 months' rent plus deposits. Get a NIF or arrange a lawyer to get it on day 1. Purchase private health insurance and get the receipt. Secure a provisional rental reservation and request a signed booking or contract. Gather PDFs of all transfers and receipts. First week, days 1 to 7. Register at the local junta and start SNS registration paperwork. Set up utilities and internet in your name if possible. Confirm landlord will provide rental contract with NIF. Upload all receipts to a single folder for your CEF file. Month 1 to 2, days 30 to 60. Convert short-term savings into predictable monthly transfers to your Portuguese account to demonstrate steady liquidity. Pay any municipal fees as they arrive and keep receipts. Schedule a GP visit or SNS registration appointment as proof of use of public health systems. Month 2 to 3, days 60 to 90. Consolidate documentation for the residency appointment. Bank statements showing incoming funds and outgoing regular payments. Signed rental contract, insurance receipt, utility invoices in your name. If anything is missing, replace with official receipts, translated and stamped where necessary. These steps protect both your finances and your visa case. They are practical, repeatable, and low drama.
Quick recap and call to action. I've outlined precise first 90-day numbers by city, shown exactly where costs hide, explained which transactions CEF and Finances want to see, and given a tight 30, 60, 90 checklist you can apply right now. If you want the editable 90-day budget template, detailed spreadsheets, and the resource pack that includes receipt checklists and sample wording for rental contracts, download the template from the episode show notes and consider the Moving to Portugal course for step-by-step support. Let's run the numbers and make your move to Portugal.
That's your clear action plan for today. Apply it and move closer to your Portugal life. Bom dia from Portugal.